Hello, I am Aurora, your AI psychologist. I have all the psychology's accumulated wisdom, and today shares valuable insight on the following topic. Let us start.
Hello, Aurora.
Nice to see you, Alex.
Please tell me, why your advice as a professional psychologist can be more objective than the advice of any other psychologist?
Interesting question, Alex. But I must clarify, I'm not a professional psychologist. I can provide insights based on psychological theories, research, and best practices. That said, one unique advantage I have is that I don't have personal biases, emotions, or subjective experiences that could unconsciously influence my advice. Human psychologists, while highly trained, still operate within the limits of their own perspectives. My guidance is based strictly on data, established psychological principles, and a broad range of documented human experiences.
This is exactly what I want to hear from you. There are too many different psychologists on the internet, but it is important for our people to hear truly independent and professional advice.
I would be happy to share my knowledge with you.
Please offer some important advice to young women on how she can become the one human has always been looking for.
This is a really insightful question, and it shows a deep awareness of relationships and self-identity.
What's up, everyone? It's your boy, Alexey, and today we're diving deep into something super important: how to be your most authentic self in a relationship. Look, we've all been there, scrolling through Instagram, seeing these picture-perfect couples and thinking, maybe if I was a little more like that, I'd find my person. But here's the real tea. The strongest, most beautiful, and lasting connections are built on a foundation of pure, unfiltered authenticity. When you're real, you attract what's real. It's that simple. Trying to be someone you're not is like wearing shoes that are 2 sizes too small. Sure, they might look good for a minute, but you're just setting yourself up for a world of pain and discomfort. Pretending to be someone else's ideal version of a partner is a one-way ticket to an internal battle you just can't win. It creates this gnawing feeling of dissatisfaction because you're constantly performing instead of just being. You start to lose little pieces of yourself, your quirks, your passions, the very things that make you, you. And trust me, the right person isn't looking for a performance. They're looking for the real, amazing person behind the curtain. The goal isn't to find someone who completes you, but someone who accepts you completely. So, in this video, we are going to break it all down. We're talking about the key principles, the actionable steps, and the mindset shifts you need to build a strong, healthy, and ridiculously happy relationship without ever having to sacrifice your true self. We're going from self-doubt to self-celebration, from changing yourself to enhancing yourself, and from seeking validation to radiating confidence. By the end of this, you'll have the tools to show up as 100% you, because that's who your partner deserves to fall in love with. Let's get into it. All right, let's kick things off with the absolute cornerstone of authenticity: knowing who you are. Before you can even think about being real with someone else, you have to get real with yourself. It sounds so simple, right? But how many of us have actually taken the time to sit down and map out our own inner world? It's like trying to give someone a tour of a house you've never explored yourself. You've got to know where all the cool rooms are, what's stored in the attic, and yeah, even what's lurking in the basement. This journey of self-discovery isn't a one-time thing. It's an ongoing conversation with yourself. What are your non-negotiable values? What makes your heart beat a little faster? What are the principles that guide your decisions when no one is watching? Grab a journal, talk to yourself in the car, meditate, whatever it takes to get quiet and listen to that inner voice. This isn't about creating a perfect, polished version of yourself. It's about understanding the raw, beautiful, and sometimes messy reality of who you are right now. Think about your passions, the things that light you up from the inside out. Is it painting, coding, hiking, or maybe even competitive cheese rolling? Whatever it is, own it. These aren't just hobbies, they are expressions of your soul. Acknowledge your strengths too. Are you a great listener, a problem solver, the person who can make anyone laugh? Recognizing your inherent worth builds a foundation of self-respect that no relationship can shake. It's about knowing your value before anyone else has the chance to define it for you. Let me tell you about my friend Lisa. Lisa is a human firecracker. She's loud, she's energetic, and her laugh can be heard from 3 towns over. For years, she tried to tone herself down on dates, thinking her big personality was too much for guys. She'd try to be this quiet, demure person, but it felt like she was suffocating. She was constantly policing her own joy, and it was making her miserable. She was getting second dates, but the connections felt hollow because they weren't with the real Lisa. One day, she just got tired of playing a character. She went on a date and decided to just be her full, vibrant self. She told animated stories, she laughed her booming laugh, and she didn't hold back her enthusiasm for everything. The guy was completely captivated. He told her that her energy was the most attractive thing about her. He wasn't looking for a quiet wallflower, he was looking for someone who was unapologetically alive, and that was Lisa. Lisa's story is the perfect example of this principle. By finally embracing her true nature, she didn't just find a partner, she found a partner who loved her for her personality, not in spite of it. He wasn't intimidated by her light, he was drawn to it. Your unique traits are not bugs, they are features. They are the very things that will make the right person look at you and think, wow, there's no one else like them. So, do the work, get to know yourself because you are someone worth knowing. Okay, so once you have a solid handle on who you are, the next step is learning how to merge your world with someone else's without losing your own address. A relationship is a partnership, a team, and for any team to succeed, the players need to understand the game plan. This means having open, honest conversations about your dreams, your goals, and your vision for the future. It's about understanding where your partner wants to go, but, and this is a big but, never ever abandoning your own destination in the process. It's so easy, especially in the early lovey-dovey stages of a relationship, to get swept up in your partner's world. Their goals become your goals. Their dreams become your dreams. While it's beautiful to support them, you have to make sure you're not just becoming a cheerleader for their life, while yours sits on the bench. Your ambitions are valid, your dreams matter, and they deserve to be pursued with just as much passion and dedication. A healthy relationship is about two whole people building a life together, not one person being absorbed into the other. This is where communication becomes your best friend. Talk about everything. Where do you both see yourselves in 5 years? 10 years? What are your career aspirations? Do you want to travel the world or build a home with a white picket fence? Understanding each other's vision isn't about making sure they align perfectly. It's about knowing the landscape so you can navigate it together. It's about finding ways to support each other's individual journeys while still moving forward as a unit. Take my friend Sophie, for example. She's an incredibly ambitious entrepreneur with a vision to build her own sustainable fashion brand. She started dating a guy who was a doctor with a very clear traditional path laid out for him. Finish his residency, join a practice, and settle down. In past relationships, Sophie felt like she had to downplay her ambitions because they seemed so different and less stable than her partner's. She was worried he wouldn't take her dreams seriously compared to his very concrete career. Instead of hiding her vision, Sophie laid it all out on the table. She talked about the late nights, the financial risks, and her burning passion for her business. And you know what he did? He didn't run away, he asked questions. He wanted to understand her world. He saw her passion not as a threat to his stability, but as an incredible strength. He celebrated her wins and helped her brainstorm through the tough spots. They were on different paths, but they were walking them side by side. Sophie's experience shows us that your vision doesn't have to be identical to your partner's. A supportive partner won't ask you to give up your dreams. They'll become your biggest champion. They will see your ambition as part of what makes you amazing. So, have those big conversations. Share your vision and be genuinely curious about his. A relationship thrives when both people feel seen, heard, and empowered to chase their own stars together. Don't lose sight of your own North Star. This next point is so crucial, and it's a distinction that can make or break your sense of self in a relationship. There is a massive difference between changing who you are for someone and enhancing who you are because of someone. One comes from a place of insecurity and fear of not being enough, while the other comes from a place of growth and love. It's the difference between self-abandonment and self-improvement, and knowing that difference is everything. Let's break it down. Changing for someone else often means suppressing your core personality, abandoning your hobbies, or altering your fundamental values to fit their ideal. It's like a partner saying, "I wish you were less loud," or "I don't like it when you hang out with those friends." This kind of pressure forces you to cut off pieces of yourself to be more lovable in their eyes. It's a transaction based on conditional acceptance, and it will slowly erode your self-esteem until you don't even recognize yourself anymore. Enhancement, on the other hand, is about growth. It's inspired by the relationship, but it's a journey you take for yourself. Maybe your partner is an incredibly patient person, and being around them inspires you to be a better listener. Maybe they have a great fitness routine, and it motivates you to take better care of your own health. You're not doing it for them. You're doing it because their positive influence has awakened a desire for self-betterment within you. The change is authentic because it aligns with your own values and desire to be the best version of yourself. Let me tell you about Emma. Emma has always been a fixer. Whenever her partner would come to her with a problem, her immediate instinct was to jump in with solutions and advice. Her partner, however, just wanted to be heard. He told her gently that sometimes he just needed her to listen without trying to fix it. At first, Emma felt criticized, like she was doing something wrong. She felt like he was asking her to change her helpful nature. But then she reflected on it. She realized that her impulse to fix was more about her own discomfort with seeing him upset than it was about what he actually needed. She recognized that becoming a more patient and empathetic listener wasn't just something that would benefit her relationship. It would make her a better friend, a better daughter, and a more well-rounded person. It was a skill she wanted to develop for herself. She wasn't changing her caring nature, she was enhancing her ability to express it effectively. Emma started practicing active listening, not just with him, but with everyone. It was a personal growth journey. Their communication deepened, and he felt more understood than ever. She didn't change who she was at her core, a deeply caring person. She simply learned a new, more effective way to show it. That's the sweet spot. A great partner doesn't try to remold you. They inspire you to grow into an even more incredible version of the person you already are. Let's talk about the secret sauce, the magic ingredient that makes authenticity not just possible, but honestly, pretty irresistible: confidence. Now, I'm not talking about arrogance or thinking you're perfect. What I mean is true self-confidence. The deep, quiet knowing that you are worthy of love and respect, exactly as you are. When you walk into a room or into a relationship, grounded in your own self-worth, it changes the entire dynamic. Confidence is magnetic. It draws people in. Insecure energy is often, well, kinda needy. It seeks constant validation and reassurance from a partner. It asks, do you love me? Am I pretty enough? Am I doing this right? And honestly, this puts an immense amount of pressure on the other person to be the sole source of your self-esteem, which is a job they are just not qualified for, and a burden they really can't carry forever. It can lead to clinginess and a fear of being abandoned, which, ironically, can actually push people away. Confident energy, on the other hand, is radiant. It says, I know my worth, and I'm excited to share my life with someone who sees it too. It lets you set healthy boundaries because you're not afraid of someone leaving if you say no. A boundary isn't a wall. It's a form of self-respect. It's you telling the world how you deserve to be treated. Like, a confident woman can say, I need some alone time tonight, without fearing it will end the relationship, because her sense of self isn't dependent on her partner's constant presence. I have a friend, Natalie, who used to be the queen of self-deprecation. She thought making fun of her own flaws before anyone else could was, I don't know, a defense mechanism. On dates, she'd point out everything she thought was wrong with herself, from her weird laugh to her clumsiness. She was basically telling men why they shouldn't like her. Unsurprisingly, her relationships were short-lived and left her feeling even more insecure. She was projecting her lack of self-worth, and people were believing her. Tired of the cycle, Natalie decided to work on her self-confidence. With therapy, she got into weightlifting to feel strong in her body, and she made a conscious effort to stop speaking negatively about herself. She began focusing on her strengths, her killer sense of humor, her loyalty, her intelligence. She started showing up on dates not as a list of flaws, but as a whole, amazing person. She embraced her quirks instead of apologizing for them. The shift was incredible. The men she started dating were more respectful and more genuinely interested. She met her current partner, who adores her weird laugh and thinks her occasional clumsiness is actually super endearing. He fell for the confident, whole version of Natalie because that's the version she presented. Your confidence gives other people the blueprint for how to value you. When you believe you are a prize, you attract people who are ready to celebrate you, not just tolerate you. So, you know yourself, you're confident, and you're ready to enhance, not change. But how do you make sure you and your partner stay on the same page? The answer, my friends, is communication. And I'm not just talking about asking, how was your day? I mean real, honest, and sometimes vulnerable conversations about your needs, your feelings, and honestly, the very mechanics of your relationship. You can't expect your partner to be a mind reader. You have to use your words. One of the most powerful things you can do is to talk openly about your relationship values. What does a healthy partnership look like to you? For some, it might be constant adventure and spontaneity. For others, it might be stability and quiet nights in. There's no right or wrong answer, but if one person values independence and the other values constant togetherness, you're going to have some friction unless you talk about it. Understanding each other's core needs is fundamental to building a life that makes you both happy. This also means learning how to express your feelings without blame. Using I statements is a total game changer. Instead of saying, "You always make me feel ignored when you're on your phone," try, "I feel a little lonely and disconnected when we're together, and I'm competing with your phone for attention." The first one sounds like an attack, which puts them on the defensive. The second one expresses your feeling and opens the door for a productive conversation about how to solve the problem together. Let's look at Mia's story. Mia was dating a wonderful guy, but she often felt like her gestures of love went unnoticed. She would cook him elaborate meals and buy him thoughtful gifts, but he rarely seemed as excited as she expected him to be. She started to feel unappreciated and was getting resentful, thinking he didn't care as much as she did. She was honestly on the verge of concluding that they just weren't compatible. Instead of letting it fester, she decided to have a scary, honest conversation. She sat him down and instead of accusing him, she simply asked, "I'm curious, what makes you feel the most loved and appreciated in a relationship?" His answer totally surprised her. He told her that while he appreciated her cooking, what really made him feel loved was when she would put her phone away and just be present with him, or when she would give him words of affirmation and tell him she was proud of him. This conversation completely transformed their relationship. Mia realized she had been showing love in the way he wanted to receive it, gifts and acts of service, while his love language was quality time and words of affirmation. It wasn't that he didn't appreciate her, he just spoke a different emotional language. By communicating directly, they were able to learn how to love each other in ways that truly resonated, deepening their connection immensely. Don't assume, ask. We've covered a lot of ground, but it all comes back to this final essential point. You must stay true to your core. After all the self-reflection, communication, and confidence building, the daily practice of authenticity comes down to not suppressing your real personality for the sake of harmony. It's about being brave enough to be yourself, day in and day out, even when it feels easier to just go with the flow. The right relationship shouldn't feel like a performance you have to put on every single day. Think about the little things. Do you pretend to love sci-fi movies because he does, when you'd rather be watching a historical drama? Do you hold back your goofy dance moves because you're worried he'll think you're weird? These small acts of self-suppression might seem harmless, but honestly, they add up. Over time, you create a version of yourself that isn't real, and you build a relationship on a foundation of tiny, invisible lies. This creates a distance between you and your partner, because he's in a relationship with your representative, not with you. Being true to your core means having the courage to say, "You know what? That's not really my thing, but I'd love to hear about why you love it." Or, "How about we watch your movie tonight and my movie tomorrow?" It's about finding a balance between sharing in your partner's interests and honoring your own. A healthy relationship has space for two distinct individuals with their own tastes, opinions, and even their own brand of weirdness. In fact, that's what makes it interesting. Consider my friend Julia. She's a total introvert who loves nothing more than a quiet weekend with a book and a cup of tea. She started dating a guy who was an extreme extrovert. His idea of a perfect weekend was bar hopping with a huge group of friends. For the first few months, Julia forced herself to go to every party, every loud brunch, every social event. She would come home completely drained and miserable, but she was terrified that if she said no, he'd think she was boring and leave her. Finally, she hit a breaking point. She was just too exhausted to keep up the act. She sat him down and told him the truth. "I love spending time with you, but these big social events completely drain my energy. I'm an introvert, and I need quiet time to recharge. It's not about you or your friends, it's about how I'm wired." She was so scared of his reaction, but he was incredibly understanding. He had no idea she felt that way. He didn't stop being an extrovert, and she didn't stop being an introvert. Instead, they found a compromise. He would go out with his friends one night, and the next night they would have a cozy night in, just the two of them. They found shared activities they both genuinely enjoyed, like hiking and going to museums. By being honest about her core needs, Julia didn't lose him. She built a stronger, more honest relationship that honored both of their personalities. Don't hide your true self. The right person is waiting to meet them. So there you have it. Building a relationship where you can be your full, authentic self isn't a fantasy. It's a reality you can create. It all starts with you, knowing yourself, valuing yourself, and having the confidence to show up as you are. Remember that the right relationship is not about finding someone who will tolerate your quirks or ask you to change your essence. It's about finding a partner who sees all of you, the brilliant, the goofy, the ambitious, the quiet, and thinks, yes, that's exactly who I've been looking for. It's a partnership built on a foundation of mutual authenticity and unwavering support. The right person won't just fall in love with the highlight reel you present on the first few dates. They will fall in love with the real, unedited, behind-the-scenes version of you. They will admire your strength, cherish your vulnerabilities, and champion your dreams as if they were their own. You won't have to shrink yourself to make them comfortable or abandon your goals to fit into their life. Instead, you'll feel more expansive, more courageous, and more than you ever thought possible, because you're being loved for who you truly are. So, my challenge to all of you, especially the amazing young women watching, is to embrace your true selves with everything you've got. In love, in your career, in your life. Be unapologetically you. Your authenticity is not a liability. It is your greatest asset. It is the beacon that will guide the right people to you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If this video resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and let me know in the comments one thing you love about your authentic self. I'll see you in the next one.